Welcome to PsycheSeek. Today we're going on a wild ride through some of the most mind-boggling puzzles in psychology. Stick around till the end for a surprise twist. The first brain teaser we're going to talk about is called the paradox of hedonism. Ever wondered why sometimes the more you run after happiness, the more it seems to dodge you? That's what the paradox of hedonism is all about. It's like trying to catch a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it flies away. But what if you just sat still, enjoying your time, maybe doing something you love? You might find that the butterfly, a symbol for happiness here, might just decide to land gently on your shoulder. So instead of running after happiness, try immersing yourself in activities you love, lending a hand to those around you, or just being present in the moment. You might be pleasantly surprised to find happiness tiptoeing up behind you like a delightful sunrise coming up when you least expect it. This riddle isn't just about finding happiness, but about rethinking what happiness means to us and how we go about seeking it. Next, meet the paradox of choice. This is a psychological theory that was first proposed by American psychologist Barry Schwartz. The concept, at its core, is a simple one. While freedom of choice is an integral pillar of modern society, there is a limit to the number of choices we can manage before it becomes overwhelming. Consider, for instance, standing in the cereal aisle at a supermarket. You're presented with hundreds of choices on every shelf. You're not just choosing between corn and oatmeal. You're also choosing between brands, flavors, nutritional content, price, and even packaging aesthetics. If you're like most people, you probably don't have a clear idea of what you want. So, you spend far longer than necessary scanning the options, growing increasingly frustrated and stressed. The same happens when you're browsing through an extensive menu at a restaurant, scrolling through endless pages of online shopping options, or even deciding on a vacation destination among countless stunning locales. Too many options can lead to a paralysis of choice, resulting in anxiety, stress, and dissatisfaction. This phenomenon isn't limited to trivial decisions either. It can impact significant life choices like selecting a career, choosing a spouse, or buying a home. The reality is that the privilege of choice can often end up feeling more like a curse than a blessing, stifling us instead of liberating us. Ever spent hours scrolling through a streaming service unable to choose a movie? That's the paradox of choice in action. Now, let's turn to the self-reference paradox. This paradox, a fascinating concept in the field of logic and philosophy, arises when a statement refers to itself. It has provoked countless debates among philosophers, mathematicians, and linguists over the years, who have all sought to untangle its nature. Exploring its realms, we delve into a world that's equally intriguing and mind-bending. To get a clearer picture, let's consider the classic example, the liar's paradox. This statement is a lie. This paradox is a statement that, upon analysis, cannot consistently be either true or false. It's a statement that refers to its own veracity, creating a cycle of self-reference that causes the paradox. If we were to assume the statement is true, then it must indeed be a lie, as it explicitly declares itself to be. But this is where the contradiction arises. If the statement is a lie, as it purports, then the statement is not telling the truth, which would mean that it is true. You might be thinking, that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's a maddening, circular loop of logic, a conundrum that seems incapable of resolution. Each resolution you attempt only spins you back to the start, thereby creating an endless loop, a paradox. This paradoxical loop challenges our usual understanding of truth and falsity, forcing us to confront the limitations of binary thinking. It is a testament to the complexities and idiosyncrasies inherent in language and logic. The self-reference paradox serves as a potent reminder that reality can be far more intricate and confounding than our minds can readily comprehend. Philosophy and logic are fields fraught with such conundrums, continually pushing boundaries and challenging our understanding. Yet, despite all of the complexity, the essence of the self-reference paradox is captured in this simple form. This statement is a lie. If the statement is true, then it must be a lie, as it states. But if it's a lie, then it must be true. This creates an endless loop, a paradox. Then there's the paradox of intolerance, an intriguing concept that forces us to take a deeper look at our societal norms and principles. This paradox, a complex intellectual riddle, argues the ramifications of limitless tolerance in a society. It presents a fascinating hypothetical circumstance where if a society is perpetually tolerant without any form of limit or control, it exposes itself to a dangerous vulnerability. This relentless tolerance could be our downfall, as its ability to be tolerant will eventually be seized or destroyed. The root of this paradox is the existence of the intolerant, the individuals or groups that exploit the boundless tolerance, driving their agenda of intolerance, causing an imbalance. It's these elements that are problematic, not the concept of tolerance itself. These elements, under the guise of tolerance, may act with impunity, eroding the integrity of the society we hold dear. This paradox then poses a critical question to us, the question of intolerance. It challenges us to question the limits of our tolerance. Should intolerance be allowed to exist under the umbrella of societal tolerance? Should we, in our quest for absolute freedom and fairness, allow the voice of intolerance to rise, drown, and smudge the harmonious symphony of diverse thoughts? It's a question that challenges our understanding of freedom and fairness. Finally, consider the paradox of groupthink. This psychological phenomenon is intriguing, a uniquely human behavior that pushes us to consider the power of consensus and the allure of agreement. It is a term that psychologist Irving Janis coined in the 1970s. It's a social phenomenon that we've all likely experienced, even if we didn't know the name for it. It happens when a group of people gathered together to problem solve or innovate ends up making irrational decisions. These decisions are not due to a lack of knowledge, skill, or motivation, but rather, they stem from an intense and often subconscious desire for harmony. In such situations, the group members set aside their personal beliefs and inclinations to go with the collective choice. Their fear of conflict, rejection, or dissent leads them to concur with a decision that may not be the best one. They conform not because they necessarily agree with the decision, but because they want to fit in, they want to belong. This is the allure of conformity. The paradox is truly fascinating, and it lies in the very reason groups are formed. Groups are typically put together with the intention of making better decisions, pooling together diverse experiences and perspectives to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the situation at hand. However, the very phenomenon of groupthink, with its preference for harmony over conflict, can in fact lead to poorer decisions. It's an ironic truth that the desire to fit in can sometimes undermine the very purpose of the group. And this is the paradox that lies at the heart of groupthink. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the special bonus. Our story begins with a paradox, a situation that defies intuition and common sense. This is not your ordinary paradox, but rather, one that involves the unexpected, the unpredictable, and the fatal. It is known as the paradox of the unexpected hanging, a tale that has puzzled thinkers and philosophers for generations. Think about this. A stern judge, stone-faced and merciless, proclaims to a trembling prisoner that he will be hanged unexpectedly within a week. The prisoner, terrified yet defiant, starts to ponder upon the judge's words. He is not new to logic puzzles, so he begins to deconstruct the judge's sentence, searching for a loophole, a way to escape his certain doom. He starts reasoning, dissecting the statement. If he were to be hanged on the last day of the week, this would contradict the element of surprise. In other words, it would be expected, hence it cannot be the last day. Then what about the second last day? Again, if he made it through the rest of the week, he would expect the hanging on that day, ruling it out as well. With this line of thought, the prisoner finds hope, a glimmer of life amidst his impending doom. He reasons out each day of the week, concluding that there is no day he could be hanged unexpectedly. Therefore, he convinces himself he won't be hanged, a conclusion that gives him a sense of safety, a false sense of security. But then, as the days pass and the dreaded moment arrives, the hanging is unexpected, a contradiction to the prisoner's logical deduction. The prisoner never saw it coming as he was so sure of his logic. Thus it remains a paradox, the unexpected hanging, an endlessly fascinating tale that challenges our understanding of logic and expectation. So, there you have it. These paradoxes not only perplex us but also provoke us to think beyond our conventional borders. They challenge our comprehension of pleasure, inducing us to ponder whether it is merely a momentary sensation or an enduring state of mind. They force us to question our choices, pushing us to evaluate if we are truly free or subtly manipulated by unseen forces. They compel us to examine self-reference, nudging us to analyze whether we can objectively assess ourselves or our perception is inherently biased. They question our understanding of tolerance, making us wonder if we are truly accepting or merely feigning inclusiveness. They put a spotlight on group decision-making, making us question whether collective wisdom prevails over individual intellect. And finally, they play with our expectations, teasing us to ponder whether they are an outcome of our aspirations or a slave to societal norms. Through all these, they remind us that the world is not just black and white but a kaleidoscope of patterns, full of complexity and contradictions. This inherent complexity is the very essence that makes life so fascinating and worth exploring. Every paradox is a stepping stone in our ceaseless journey of understanding the world around us and the universe within us. It keeps us on our toes and encourages us to keep exploring and questioning. It prompts us to stay in a constant state of awe, marveling at the wonders of the human mind. This journey of discovery and understanding is a marathon, not a sprint. It does not cease here. It requires us to be constantly curious, relentlessly exploring, and ceaselessly questioning. If you've learned something new or enjoyed this journey into the world of psychological paradoxes, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support inspires us to continue exploring and sharing these captivating topics. Until next time, stay curious.